Hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. Good times with Scar here, bringing you another creative fun time episode with Scar as we continue to build this amazing modern house. And in today's episode, we are heading out back to create our pool. So we're going to start our layout and design and excavation of the land. So let's get this episode underway. All right, and welcome back. And what could this possibly be? Maybe expansion room for more houses? Who knows? Who knows anything? But welcome back, and it's good to have you here today for our episode as we start the layout and design of our pool. So let's head on back to our backyard here and take a look at our basic layout that we have for our pool. So the design of this particular pool is a little different than the past pools we've done. They've always been kind of box-shaped things with kind of a real modern style to it. Now we're going to keep with the modern theme here, but we're creating more of a kind of an organic flowing feel to the pool a little bit, kind of like a lagoon type thing. That's kind of what we're going for, because here's our basic design. So here's the entrance to the pool right about here, and then there's this stretch that kind of wraps around here, which is a little bit more of a shallow area, and then up here is going to be kind of a spa that's a little bit higher than the pool. We may or may not do some waterfalls there. And then cruising on over here, this is an island. Yes, that's right, we're going to put an island in the middle of this pool. It's going to have palm trees. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I have no clue how to make a palm tree, but we're going to figure it out. And this will be the deep end. We're going to dig really deep for the pool right along here. So I think that's going to be really cool. And then of course, like in this little niche, I'm thinking about maybe doing some more palm trees there. And yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing when it's done. So first things first, before we get going, I want you guys to give me an idea of what color wood you think the pool deck would look good as. So we have our dark chocolate here as choice 1. Choice 2 would be our milk chocolate. And then of course, our pool would kind of back up to it like so, like that. So this would be our pool. This is the pool deck, and then jump in, woo, like that. All right, so let me get rid of you. You're bad rain. So let me know what you guys think, and let's dive into this. So these little pillars along here are just guidelines. They're nothing permanent. There's no real right or wrong way of doing this. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to slowly just kind of figure out where we want to put our lines. We're going to see if we may go, from line to line like so. But so we're just going to kind of fill this in a little bit like this. So it's just kind of fill it in. It's kind of fill in the blanks a little bit. So just build up kind of a basic shape that you want, and then slowly kind of craft and carve out the pieces that you want in your design. So something like that, just play with it a little bit like that. It's nothing, no way of doing this really wrong. We're not going for perfect shapes. So it's not a perfect circle. It's not a perfect square. It's just kind of a free-flowing design a little bit. So as you can see, we're going to end up with some areas like this. That's a long stretch, but we might come in here, a little bit later, and we might make it go like that. So it's a little more rounded. So it kind of has this kind of free flow feel to it along there. So that's kind of the design that we're kind of going for here. So let's kind of fill this in along here, like so. There we go. So just fill it in however you want, however, how much or little you want it to be this kind of, random, circles and stuff like that. There we go. Perfect. So I want this to be, slightly round, but I just don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical. Everything I always make in Minecraft is always so symmetrical. I want to, branch out a little bit, do a little different. There we go. Perfect. Nice. There we go. So I'll just fill this in like that. And then, of course, we're going to come in here and refine it a little bit more, but I think we're doing pretty good so far. So let's fill in those pieces. Now, this isn't the first time I record this video. I had a complete catastrophe. So I use ScreenFlow to record, and I had problems with ScreenFlow, but they've always been my problems. I might have did something wrong, and I've had to redo like parts of videos or something, but that's just normal stuff. That stuff happens. But I had a complete failure of ScreenFlow, and it completely failed on me, and it crashed while I was editing down this video. I had completed a 20-minute video. I recorded it. It was awesome, perfect. Everything was good. And then, yeah, things didn't go so well. It started crashing. It crashed again, and then I was just unable to ever open the file up again. It's a really, really big bummer. And making more than one video a day kind of takes a bit of a toll on me. So sorry if I'm a little bit tired. I'm doing my best, but I'm not going to let you guys down. I'm going to get this video out for you. So we're doing our best we can, but man, ScreenFlow has been rock solid for 3 years of making Minecraft videos. And yeah, finally failed on me, I guess, if you will, and it was super disappointing. I'm not sure what really went down with it, and I sure hope this one's going to work out. Okay, so pool's a little funky, but we're going to start to kind of curve it and start to add a little bit more detail at this point now. So we can see the areas we want to kind of address. So I'm going to start to kind of remove this section here a little bit, and then we'll just kind of make it come out a little here and make it come out here a little bit like that. There we go. Perfect. Nice. Good. That's how we want it. And then we'll come over here maybe a little bit, make this section just a little bit wider right there. There we go. Good. Nice. And then maybe over here we just make this side just a little bit wider too. Nice. There. Good. I just want to maybe move this one just a little bit more. Just a little bit. And then maybe take this section and just add just a little bit right there. Perfect. Yeah, there we go. That looks better than it had. So let's fly on over here. And then I want to adjust this section right here. So just kind of make it look a little bit more natural. There we go. There we go. So this is kind of like a lagoon. So like I was saying before, we're going to do some palm trees. Now, I've never made any palm trees. Now, I've always advocated for palm trees in Minecraft. If you remember some of the tree farm videos where I was kind of going on about biomes that I wanted to see added into Minecraft, you'll remember I was pretty adamant. I wanted a tropical biome with palm trees and stuff like that. And you know, we can always hope. And believe there's quite a few mods that add palm trees and stuff. But we need that in vanilla Minecraft. We need palm trees in vanilla Minecraft. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. So we're starting to get there. So you can kind of get the feel for how I was doing this, you know, kind of add a piece there and stuff like that. So maybe over here, you might want to bring this out maybe 2 more blocks and then kind of cut in here a little bit like that. There we go. So something like that. Well, I'm going to continue to refine it a little bit, kind of catch my breath. And be right back. All right, and welcome back. So I refined it a little bit more, and believe me, once we start getting into it and start digging it out, this is going to start looking like a pretty darn awesome pool. So now the hard part. So we are back. So I've done this already once today. So this part takes about an hour and a half. So this part takes a long time. So what we're doing here is we are carving out the land. We're excavating the land, getting it all sorted out here so we can get to start to plaster the sides of the pool and stuff like that. And yeah, so I had a few things I want to talk about while we're doing these mundane tasks, and that is I updated some of my channel art. Now I haven't got a chance to actually talk about it because most of the videos recently have been all firework video and different things like that. So things have been kind of wild lately, you know, getting the Q&A video all settled, and I made some new graphics for it, and I did the new graphics for the channel, which they were pretty much done. I actually completed those graphics in July, but I just finally got around to getting it all finished because of just, you know, lots of stuff going on. So it took me a little while to get that done, and finally got that done, and it's just a placeholder. So the new graphics that are on my YouTube channel header and the new Twitter channel header and Facebook are all kind of they're nice. I think they're okay, but I do want something new later, so they're kind of a placeholder for something much better. And the much better thing is a whole channel redesign that I want to do, but I don't have quite the skills yet to do it. So I'm still learning some of the things that I'll need to do to make my new intro and things like that. So the intro that I want, and I'll give you a little sneak peek at it. So what I want, I think it'll be pretty cool, pretty unique, is kind of like a Minecrafter that's in a wheelchair. So yeah, just that's me. That's who I am. I'm in a wheelchair, and I'm going to do that for kind of my logo. And he's kind of rolling around, but he's being chased. So he's being chased by no other than Bob the Building Creeper Inspector. And it's just maybe like, I don't know, a 3 or 4 second intro of him zipping by me, you know, kind of zipping by with kind of a Minecraft inspired wheelchair, so square wheels and all. And Creeper Inspector right behind him, trailing him with a clipboard and a hard hat. And I think that'd be a fool. That would be. Did I say that would be a fool intro? That would be a cool intro. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think of that. I think it would be kind of unique, kind of interesting. So yeah, I did. You know, I have the new header, which is kind of an abstract Minecraft blocks with then Scar inside of them. I think it's kind of minimalist, kind of nice. I like that too. So I think it'll suit us for now, till we can get what we want later down the road. So I think that'll be something kind of cool and unique for the channel. Now, as we come into summer, we have a lot of new series that are going to start up in the next couple months or so. And I want to be able to do them just a little bit different to keep things fresh. So what I want to do, I think this might be kind of cool, is to have a graphic. So let me know also if this is something to be cool. So at the start of each series, so when we do our little intro, like, whoa, there, my fellow miners and crafters, we have maybe like a face cam at that point in the video. So you see me like, oh, hello there. And I introduce what we're going to do in the episode, and there would be a graphic overlay of the screen saying, this is the Modern House project. And there would be graphics to kind of represent that. Or if it was in Scarland, it would say something like Scarland Fishing Cabin Project, and me up in the top, you'd be like, oh, well, hello there. And then once that was done, we go out of the little intro there, and then into the normal part of the video. We do no face cam, and then just a straight video, no more graphics. I think it would make kind of a nice little intro. I at least thought so, and I just want to get your guys' thoughts on maybe something like that coming in the near future to add a little extra to the content a little bit. I think that might be interesting. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about today? Let's see here. So I'm super glad you guys did enjoy the fireworks show. The fireworks show took about 3 weeks to make. That was quite something, but I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it, and I think it was really well worth the effort on it. And it was a ton of fun to make. It was an absolute blast. Literally, it was a blast. It exploded all over Scarland skies. It was awesome. And if you missed it, you just head over to my channel page and check it out, because it was a ton of fun, and you guys seem to really like it. And the tour of Scarland, I think that went well too. We got to see Scarland, and you guys got to see some new changes. If you watch the old Q&A, so this was 2.0, the one we just did this weekend. And if you watch the old one, you could really see a lot of changes made to Scarland. At first, you look at the original area of the land, and it's relatively the same, but if you look closely, you can see a lot of changes, especially the Nether Castle, which that's a little bit more obvious too, of course. But yeah, so we replaced a lot of the different materials on that to new styles. And the entrance, as you cross into the cave of the Nether Castle, if you go back and watch that Q&A tour, you can see that I've updated the entrance tunnel down there. That's where the future project is, and the prototype minecart station, which someday I'm going to get around to doing that. That's pretty old. I've had that prototype down there for a couple months, but it will be done eventually. It will be done. As you can see, it didn't work quite right in the video because I was lagging like crazy. The snapshot that I was on was really buggy for some reason. And yeah, so I'm glad you guys enjoyed those videos, those subscriber appreciation videos for the 100,000 subscribers. I do want to do the Draw My Life, but that might come in a couple weeks maybe. I have a lot of stuff coming up, and to add that to normal production of videos might be a little much on me. So that will come. So keep me on it. Remind me every once in a while to make sure I do that. All right, so give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to continue to kind of dig this all out, and I'll be right back. All right, and welcome back. And look at that. We've started to get our pool all assembled. So this is the kind of the shallow end over here. So you can see we went 2 from here. So that's 2 straight up, and then came down just to here. Now I was going to maybe go another block down so we continued that slope, but I've already done this before today, and I wanted to get it finished because it's starting to get kind of late. All right, so now we're working on the deep end here. So we're just going to excuse Bob, the building creeper inspector, down below there. And we're just going to bring this out here. So this will kind of slope inward, and this will make our deep end. So this is our deep end of the pool. And let's see, that piece doesn't go there, but that piece goes right there. There we go. So yeah, so this pool is kind of inspired a little bit by I don't know, like a tank you'd see, like maybe like a sea lion or something that, he's swimming around having a great time in his little tank or whatever at like a zoo or an aquarium or something along those lines. So that's kind of this is actually a lot inspired by the zoo near me, who has this cool tank that a sea lion lives in, and he's always swimming around doing all these man, my words are all messed up today. You make too many videos in a day, this is what happens. So he makes all these giant like dives into the pool, And you know, it splashed, and then he goes way deep down into the deep end of it. And I was like, man, as a swimmer, that looks like a lot of fun. And so, yeah, that's why we're making this deep end of it really big. So I had a question. So back in the day, so when I was a swimmer, we had these things called monofins. I wonder if they still have them. So if anybody's out there that's a competitive swimmer, do you guys still use monofins to train, to like strength train your legs and stuff? At least we did a little bit back in when I was swimming, and they were super fun. So what it is just a giant fin instead of like two individual fins you might be familiar with. It's a giant one, and there's different like flexibilities to it and stuff to let's see, put that up there like that, and then run this guy like that. There we go. So there's different flexibilities of how easy it is to move and stuff. But it's really fun because once you get going, and if you have the right strength in your legs, you can just fly through the water with it, underwater and stuff. It's really fun. So yeah, this is my house in here, and I'm down here. I would have some of those on the ready. So there'd be one like hanging up like right there, ready to go. That would be super fun. That'd be super fun. Okay, so just getting this all finished up here, getting this all lined up, and this is quite a pool. So this is kind of like a super pool for our kind of super house. It's kind of a super house. Now I was thinking while I was going along, because it took about an hour to get to this point, excuse me, buddy. You know what? I have a present for you. It's called a sword. So I was thinking. Let me just put that right there. Eventually, I'll tell you what I was thinking. And there we go. So once we do the review, so once this house is done and we do kind of a tour and everything like that, and everything's all done, I was thinking about doing like a critique, like a critique of the house. So I go through it and I like critique my own work. I'm like, okay, so I like this, but I don't so much like how this came out, and then we could do maybe better on it in our next build. We'll remember, all right? We won't go this high, or we'll work on scale or something. So we'll review it. I'll be harsh. I'll review my build, and I find that especially with photography, when people give you a critique, and they're people that you trust, and they have your best interest at heart when they give you your review. They're not just trashing you or something like that for the heck of it. They're trying to help you by improving your craft by giving you constructive criticism. So that's really important in art and photography, that you have somebody that can do that. And I was thinking, well, why don't we do that for one of my builds? When we finish this, we're like, okay, so what worked, what didn't, what can we learn from this that we could do better in our next thing? Just taking a look at the yard a little bit, of course it's not done, but I would like there have been more levels. So the tennis court maybe was down about 3 or 4 levels down, or different areas had a little bit more elevation. It's just kind of flat across here. That's just a small thing. I kind of like having it a little bit flat. It's easier to, especially easier to do in a build, in a video, just to kind of use it. Just saves a little bit of time. But yeah, just go through the house, see what worked, see what didn't work. That's what I did with the Scarland house. I didn't do it in a video, but I went through there, and it really helped, start this house too. I learned from each build, and yeah, so just pass on the knowledge. Hopefully it helps someone else. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to see a video like that where I kind of review my work kind of critically. All right, well, there we go. We've got one pretty super awesome pool built up. Let me know if you want me to go a little bit deeper on this end or not. And I think that one's so cool. I can't even imagine how fun that would be to swim all the way down to the bottom. And then, of course, this is our island right here. So in our next episode, we'll work on our pool deck. We'll build up our spa. We'll build our palm trees and all sorts of other great stuff. And, well, guys, this has been Good Times with Scar. And I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. And if you believe the video deserved a rating, that would be much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later, and cross your fingers that this video doesn't fail. We could change this out to anything that we want, but I'm just going to go with oak for now because it has a pretty high contrast, and most of the pool tables are generally made out of oak. Okay, there we go. Good stuff. So whoops, let me remove the floor that we actually just put down. All right, perfect. I'm just going to run